Really important win last week in Carlton. It felt like the way you guys were able to do it hopefully can start a bit of momentum boosting run and come back home against Richmond this week and continue.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, we're really pleased with our game down there. Carlton, as I said during the week and during the game, Carlton's game, particularly defensively, is in pretty good order. And so to be able to challenge them the way that we did, is really encouraging for us. We feel like we played really well against what we think is a really good team. And so the challenge this week, the ladder position's different this week. Our challenge is to attack this game in the same fashion as what we did in that game. And I expect, based on training, we're trying to do with really good intensity, really good attitude, and I expect that to happen.
We know one of the things that you've challenged the team on this year over pre-season is halting momentum when opposition teams get it. It felt like that was a good example of it again that you could show on the weekend, that they got a couple of early goals sort of late in the piece that, okay, you guys didn't drop your heads, you found a way to break through that.
Yeah, I thought we managed that really well. Carlton kicked 2 goals in a row a few times and we were able to respond. And so that was pleasing. It was a step forward for us in that aspect of our game as well.
Last couple of recent games, Adelaide and Freo, it's clear that teams have set up to starve you of the corridor, try to restrict your run off half back. I mean, Richmond might come with that game plan this week. How confident are you that you can get through that if they come here with that sort of defensive mindset?
I'm very confident. I mean, I think that's everyone's game plan each and every week. It was Carlton's game plan last week. It was, Fremantle's game plan the week before, Geelong the week before that. So, our ability to defend and create really good turnovers in good attacking positions is clearly the most important thing for us, and we've managed to do that to reasonable levels. Can still improve, but then once we've won the ball back in the back half, I feel like particularly the last month we've been really strong. Number 1 scoring team from the back half. It's been a real strength of our game, and we've played a lot of really good teams in that time. So, even against Fremantle, even though they wanted to do that, we were still able, in that aspect of our game, to be pretty successful against them. So, I think it's a real strength of our game. We've got to let it shine again against Richmond, who will clearly have the same plans around defending us and creating front half turnovers like every team does. And we've got to be able to manage that with the ball and without the ball.
Josh Kelly looked pretty good today, and Brent Daniels as well. So does Kelly come straight back in, and how far off might Daniels be?
Yeah, Josh will come in. Yeah, he's fit to play. I mean, I haven't ticked it off completely with the medicos, but he'll play. And Brent is probably a week away.
That's pretty encouraging considering where he was.
Yeah, it is. It is. But I've been saying he's a week away for a while now. If I would expect him back in for Port Adelaide. We'll see how he trains next week. We may be a little bit more cautious, given his history of soft tissue over the last few years, which would mean he'd definitely back for the Brisbane game, but that would be the expectation right at this moment.
Richmond get a few in this weekend, but do you, take a lot of the inexperience that they showed last week against Essendon?
Oh, not really. I mean, they're building, they're learning how to play the way that their coach wants them to play. They've got three-time premiership players coming back in. I mean, maybe Lynch is a 2-time premiership player, so they add an enormous amount of experience and stability for them. They're all in critical positions for them, so they'll be a lot better on the back of that alone. It's a big danger game for us. There's no question about that. We think they've been progressing well. They've played well. They played well against Essendon. It was really only the last quarter where the game was gapped a bit, and the last few games they've been right in it. Beaten Gold Coast across the year, beaten Carlton early in the year, so we're fully aware of the challenge that they'll present us.
You touched on the difference of ladder positions. What is it about it that makes it a danger game? Do you talk about complacency?
Yeah, we address it. I mean, the reality is, like I've said, they've beaten Gold Coast, who are one of the best teams so far across this season. We've beaten Carlton. They've been in 2 of the last 3 games, right to the end. It's, they're capable given the opportunity. There's no illusion about that.
Lekalair looked pretty good last week. Sorry, Jeff. Are you confident now you can play him alongside Buckley and Taylor?
Well, it was a tick, yeah, and we'll continue to find out whether that's the case or not. Lek was playing on small players last week and looked really good. Not only in defending his direct opponent, but also supporting every contest around him. He had a lot of spoils that were big spoils, really good ones. So that gave us a real bit of confidence that they can all play together.
He's obviously been heavily linked away. How concerned are you that you might lose him at season's end, that ship might have sailed? Where's that at? Where's the situation?
I don't spend a lot of time on it. I kind of focus on making our team as good as it can be. And we've gone the way of Lex part of that team right at this moment and hopefully into the future, beyond this year. But we'll keep assessing that and what we think is best for our team.
Obviously, part of coming in was...
Geez, you can't get a word in, can you, mate? Far out. Yeah.
Obviously, part of coming in, we saw Lockie Whitfield kind of move a little bit more forward play, a little bit of a different role last week. It felt like it worked well, creating that link up a little bit more with the forward line. Did you like what you saw? Is it something we're going to see more of?
Yeah, I liked what I saw. We kind of were forced into doing it. And we know Lockie Whitfield is a terrific player and has been for a long time. So he's very adaptable. We can throw him in any role, and he naturally adjusts. He's a smart player, and so I was really happy with what he did last week. We'll continue to work on what our needs are and position him accordingly. I still like him as a halfback. He was all Australian halfback, wasn't he? So that's pretty good. And it's certainly really important for us. Our attack last week was quite strong from the back half, as I mentioned, and that was without him necessarily playing across half-back. So that was encouraging also. But yeah, we'll continue to sort of position him to where we think is going to work best for our team.
Do you have an idea of what your best 22 is, or is that not a worthwhile exercise in that you're so week to week?
No, I have an idea of what it is. Yeah, they're just not all available at the moment.
So when you get these guys like Let come in and you've got a forward line with Brown doing a good job there and Stringer, how hard is it balancing all that in the long run? And
yeah, it can be really difficult. I mean, the assumption is that they may not be part of the best team, perhaps. But yeah, I think that's kind of a little bit fluid too. What you think is your best team at the start of the year may not be what you think your best team is at the end of the year. And so you continually looking at it, how do we best fit? Are we doing, all the elements of the game well enough? Why aren't we? Who's contributing? Who's not contributing? Is it counterproductive to play 3 tools as the back or 3 tools in the front? So you're continually evaluating your game and your team. But you kind of got an idea of what you think it is, and then that's your foundation. That's where you start from, and then you start to pick it apart.
We saw Toby and Tom both leave a bit early.
Yep.
Any concerns there?
No, just a bit sore from the weekend's game. So just a couple of knocks. Nothing really of concern.
Your contract with Darcy Jones announced today.
Yeah.
Can you see him playing more in the midfield as time goes on in a Brent Daniels type role?
Yeah, I can. We put him in centre bounce last week. I thought he was impactful in there. I could see him developing into a midfielder more regularly, maybe not full time, because I think what he does in the front half for us is really important with his speed and pressure and finishing. But I can see him being a bit more of a midfielder than what he currently is. Yeah.
Just how quickly has he become one of kind of the most important, or almost not important, but different facets that you've got in the team that, like we saw part of the training there was creating space for him at those forward half stoppages to try and run. It's clear he's really integral to the way you guys want to play now.
Oh, he is. Yeah. I think his attributes really suit our style and the way that we want to play, and most importantly, he displays them every time he takes the field, and so that makes him a really important player for us, and it helps everyone around him. It makes their job just a little bit easier with the work that he does, and them for him too. So we feel like we're really well connected. We're a team that relies on each other. We're not relying on a couple of people, and Darcy fits that mould in. He's one of the members of our team. He just plays a really critical role.
And just on Jake Stringer, obviously he's working his way back. There's some sprints out there, doing a fair bit of running.
Yep.
I imagine there's still going to be a fair bit of caution with him, though, that you feel like you don't need to rush him back either.
No, we don't need to rush him back, and so that's the approach we'll take with him. He'll still be 2 or 3 weeks away. He could be ready to play this week if push comes to shove. He's running at high speed and ticking all those boxes, but just think we need to, based on some illness at the early part of the year, a couple of hamstrings already this year, we just need to manage him through this block to try and to get him up and going and playing his best footy in the back half of the season.
Aaron Cabin's been hitting the scoreboard a bit more consistently. Are you happy with where his development's at?
Very happy. Yeah, I think he's really hard to play on. He's complementing the other guys around him. He's creating goals for them as well as kicking them himself. So yeah, I've been really happy with his progression.